I feel like a lot of us are wondering what Geno Smith is going to show up in the 2026 season, and who not better to ask than our Jets representative, Richie. How's training camp been going for the Jets? Biggest standouts, and more importantly, is Geno back? Talk to me.
It's such a unique situation with Geno Smith being the Jets quarterback because he's got a soft spot in a lot of our Jets fans' hearts because we drafted him. This is a coming home story for us. I remember being in my bedroom when I was like 13 years old, however old I was when we drafted him. I wanted him in the second round. Him in West Virginia with Tavon Austin, that highlight reel was insane. And then we all know what happened. I was at practice in person Saturday, and that happened to be Geno's best practice. He was 15 for 15. He was just unbelievable. But I always take training camp with a grain of salt, of course. The best part about Geno Smith so far, what I'm noticing, is he's definitely buying into being the leader of this football team, and he's bringing a level of confidence that the Jets have lacked at this quarterback position for a long time. And I know the bar is very low, but comparing him to Justin Fields last year, it is a night and day difference between the confidence, the leadership, the ability to actually understand what it takes to be a successful quarterback in the National Football League. Because let me remind you, if you look at Geno's numbers the last 4 seasons, he statistically is a top 7 quarterback in the NFL. Those are the numbers. But if you want to break it down year by year, there is a decline. Since he won Comeback Player of the Year in 2022, he has been declining ever since. So the question is Geno going to continue the decline, or is he going to be able to be the best version of himself? The reason why I'm optimistic with Geno this year, it's not just Geno. I think this is the best supporting cast a quarterback has had wearing a Jets uniform in a long time. The offensive line, if you ask me, Richie, who is the one player you have the most confidence in becoming a star on this football team? It is our right tackle, Armand Membu. This kid is unbelievable. His debut, he went up against TJ Watt last year in week 1 and smacked him around. He was sensational as a rookie. He is going to be a superstar in this league. I promise you that. Don't forget, we got a first-round left tackle in Olu Fashanu entering year number 3. We extended our second-round pick, Joe Tibbin, inside. The offensive line is set up. Adonai Mitchell has been tearing up camp. Him and Geno Smith are on the same page early and often. He is going to be the second receiver next to Garrett Wilson. We all know much about GW. Oh, not to mention the Jets drafted Omar Cooper in the first round. He's making plays all over the field. He is another first-round pick the Jets got. So you got 3 wide receivers that are making plays. The only concern we have injury-wise is Kenyon Sadiq, our other first-round pick at the tight end spot. He had hernia surgery back at OTAs, and he started training camp healthy, but he had a little setback. So unfortunately, he is out for training camp right now, which is definitely going to hurt his development. But the good news is the Jets got a lot of depth at the tight end position. They invested a second-round pick in Mason Taylor last year. They still got Jeremy Rucker. Jelani Woods is 6'7" at tight end, so they got a lot of depth there. Not too concerned. On the defensive side of the ball, the best part about the defense now, they added so much veteran leadership, starting with Demario Davis, talking about a comeback story to the Jets. Demario Davis, drafted by the Jets around the same time as Geno, 37 years old, 5-time All-Pro, all in his 30s, by the way. So if you think, oh, he's washed up and old, bro, 37's old. No. Go look at this guy. This guy looks like he is in peak shape. He's the perfect example of you get better with age in certain looks if you take care of your body. This guy is a leader. He came here for the reason to be the leader of this football team. The Jets adding Minkah Fitzpatrick for just a 7th-round pick. As you guys know, the biggest storyline with the Jets last year, unfortunately, was we did not have a single interception. And Minkah Fitzpatrick already is making such a big impact in the secondary, just from helping the young guys get into their spots, communicating, getting everybody on the same page. The biggest problem with the Jets defense last year was lack of communication. And that was a big problem that the Jets had. So I think Minkah being in the back end, Demario being in the middle, and then adding all those defensive linemen like David Bailey, who's going scorched earth, our second overall pick, is absolutely lighting up camp, even though Armand Membu does get the better of him most of the time. But Bailey is flashing. The Jets got so much new pieces on this defensive line. So the Jets are going into the second year with Aaron Glenn. Expectations from Jets fans are really low. I think it's really middle of the pack. Nobody's expecting greatness. I think the Jets offseason was the quietest it's been since I've been covering the Jets, to be honest. Like, usually there's a lot of craziness around Jets land in the offseason. We're winning the offseason, or there's all this crazy stuff happening. None of that happened this offseason. I think it's exactly what the Jets needed. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to turn into anything great for us, but it feels good to finally have a quiet offseason outside of Geno Smith getting some speeding tickets. But it's okay. We've all been there, done that. But outside of that, man, vibes are high in Jets land, and I am really intrigued to see what this football team looks like with new offensive coordinator Frank Reich and his new offensive scheme, and, of course, Aaron Glenn taking on play calling duties on the defensive side of the ball. So it's year 2 of Aaron Glenn, but it still feels like a brand new situation going on with the Jets this year.
We want to make sure that we grow our audience to new heights. So in order to help that, we are bribing each and every single one of you. Let me tell you what we are running over at Roundtable Sports for each and every single YouTube channel. We are giving away a copy of Madden 27 for each and every single YouTube channel in the network. In order to enter, it's very simple. You must be a subscriber to this YouTube channel, and you have to leave a comment of your favorite team once this live stream is over on this said video. Now, this is going to be announced in every single clip that comes from the AFC East Roundtable as well, so feel free to enter as many times as you would like. But next week's show, we will be picking one lucky fan to where we will be sending you off a digital copy of Madden 27. We cannot thank you enough for your continued support. So one thing I will say about the Jets is that, like it or not, I think that they're probably in their best quarterback situation that they have been in quite some time. You could maybe reflect back to the Aaron Rodgers hype prior to the injury in week 1. And then his last year in New York, I think that we can all agree that he truly wasn't even himself until maybe toward the third quarter of like that season by itself. Yes, Geno does cough the football up quite a bit. However, when you end up looking at his supporting cast, like Richie just mentioned, Garrett Wilson, obviously, super high on Omar Cooper. I didn't hear you mention Tim Patrick. Maybe you did, but I think that's a slept-on wide receiver 4. I think that he's wildly productive. I think that he also could really help move the chains for this team. You have Breece Hall. He's newly motivated with a brand-new deal. And the defensive side of the football looks interesting, too. Like, we all have been patiently waiting for Glenn to find his guys to implement his style of defense that we saw in Detroit just a couple of years back. I'm not going to go out and say that I think this is a playoff team because I would be lying to you. However, I would not be against saying that I could see this Jets team at an absolute ceiling for the 2026 season being a 9-win squad. I could see it. I definitely could. As long as, with all of these right pieces mesh well. Right now, I have the Jets as a floor of 6 wins and a ceiling of 9.
Prize Picks is your official sponsor of the AFC East Roundtable. Let's make an AFC East Roundtable themed pick'em, baby. Let's go. What do you know? Prize Picks is your official sponsor of Roundtable Sports Network. Use code HMA. You use $5 on your first bet, and when you win, folks, they give you $150 right away. So there's no need to not sign up. They give you $150 when you win your first bet on Prize Picks. Use the code HMA. Legal in New York, in Florida, in every single, not every state, but all the massive states nationwide. Let's go into some AFC East players, starting with Drake May. 3,799.5 passing yards is your line for Drake May. More or less? How much did he have last year, Colby? Do you remember?
Top of my head, I don't, but he had more than that, I believe. I'm going to actually go. So I'm going to go a little bit under this one, just very slightly, because I think they're going to run the football a lot this year. You look at what they did with that personnel, Reggie Gilliam, the offensive line. They wanted to run the football first last year, but they couldn't. I think this year they're going to want to really do that.
All right. So we're taking the less. Now we got Malik Willis's line is at 2,974.5 passing yards. TD.
Oh, no.
This is actually a steal. It's crazy to me, but I got him around 3,700 yards. I believe he's going to get this year. That's not much. That's not crazy. I mean,
3,700 is a very good season. That's a lot.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a really good season.
Okay, so more for that.
Absolutely.
So I will say about Willis, I do think that he will go over that. 3,700 is a bit much for me, but
3,599 for Josh Allen.
It's going to be close. It's going to be really close. Give me more.
Bang.
Slightly, though.
You think Malik Willis is being disrespected? Geno is being the most disrespected
No, he's not.
on this app because
Do they got interceptions for Geno on here?
2,599.5 yards. This man has had 4,000 yards. Okay, he's hit this number the last 4 years, by the way. So why do I think he's not going to hit this season? He had over 3,000 last year.
Wow.
Maybe.
So as bad as Geno Smith is with turnovers, he gets yards. Okay, so if you want to bet the less on this, you're going to lose money. The only reason why this wouldn't hit is if he gets injured. Geno's smashed this the last 4 seasons he has been a starter in the NFL. 20 wins you 200 on Prize Picks for our AFC East quarterback passing yards picks. If you guys want to tell us, feel free. If not, make your own picks on Prize Picks.
That's kind of
I'd
based
take
on
9
my
wins
early interpretations.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
Well,
any Jets fan would sign up for a 9-win season, bro. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, we're desperate over here.
Last year, the Jets disappointed me mightily because I was very high on the roster. But I'll go into this season, honestly, and tell you, I feel like this roster is better than it was last year. With the addition of Minka Fitzpatrick, that's massive in that secondary, even though he's getting a little older, but at the same token, guys like that, they're always going to be productive. But it all starts and finishes in one place, and we all know this, Geno Smith. Geno's going to throw picks, but at the same token, he is a gunslinger. He isn't going to be scared to throw the football. I think that, like you said, Dan, you had a floor of 6 to 9 is the ceiling. I'm going to be honest. I have a floor for the Jets at around 7 wins, and I have the ceiling at around 11. I got them peaking over 11. Remember, I was kind of a little ballsy on them last year, but they really let me down. But that was all, I believe, because of the quarterback play. Richie, rightfully so, was kind of reserved to even think how I was thinking, and rightfully so, because he knew what he had in Fields
last year. I was
but
not
Geno,
positive about
Geno
Fields
is an
last year.
upgrade. Geno is a clear upgrade, but at the same token, what version do you get? Can he protect the football a little more? Basically, he averaged 1 pick per game last season, 17 picks. Can he only give 11? Y'all will be all right if he only gives 11. So I think that's where it's going to come down to.
So schedule I'm looking at right now, like y'all have games against the Arizona Cardinals. You have games against the Cleveland Browns. You have games against the Raiders. You have 2 matchups against the Miami Dolphins, which are interesting. Man. Like a few games could go the Jets' way. And yeah, man, I really think that this is the most improved team in the AFC East award is going to go to the Jets, I think.
Well, Dan, I don't know if you remember our good friends last year over at RotoWire, but they are back, baby. RotoWire is here to make sure that we are dominating all football season long, man. I don't care if it's bragging rights. I don't care if you got money on the line. You are going to want to make sure that you dominate all of your fantasy leagues this year because, let's be honest, none of us are in one fantasy league. We're all in at least 3 to 5 fantasy leagues. And right now, when you guys use the link in the bio, you use the code RTS, you are getting an absurd 25% off on your first month. You heard that right? 25% off. There's no better time to get in on it. You're looking at RotoWire here, man, and they got a lot of amazing features that are new here in 2026 compared to what we saw in 2025, all the way from advanced analytics to customize league settings to see expert rankings. You can build a draft plan. They also have a mock draft simulator so that you can practice before your big draft day comes up. They got My League Sync. They also have custom cheat sheets to go along with that. And they also have a mobile app right now. So for those of you who maybe don't love having to go online and looking up websites, you don't got to do that anymore. It's convenient for you to just click an app on your phone right now, my friends. And to go along with that, they also have really great in-season tools to make sure that you're not just dominating when you have to draft, but you are dominating all football season long to make sure that you do come out victorious. Your subscription is going to include waiver wire rankings that get updated weekly, trade analyzers, competitive insights, and draft scores. So if you guys want to make sure you are guaranteed to come out on top of your leagues this year, make sure you check out our good friends over at RotoWire. Link in the description box below.
And a quick reminder, folks, you literally sync your league no matter what app you use, whether it's NFL, ESPN, CBS Fantasy, Sleeper, Yahoo, all these different fantasy leagues. This is not where you host your fantasy league. It's where you sync your league and you dominate your boys. I'm a champion. Not only did my Knicks win a championship, I also am looking at my fantasy football trophy on my shelf, and I got RotoWire to thank for that championship, baby.
Man, RotoWire, indeed, a giant shout out for being a proud partner to the boys.
I'm hesitant with the Jets because I love what they did this offseason. I love the veteran players they brought in. I love how they've doubled down in the trenches. They've really solidified that defense. They brought in players that fit this Aaron Glenn system. But we've also seen in the past with the Jets that they've had maybe even on paper the best roster in the NFL, and they still found a way to not even be middle of the pack in the NFL. For me, when I'm looking at the Jets and I'm looking at a successful season, I'm not necessarily looking at this roster. All eyes for me are on Aaron Glenn because, you know, you look at what they did last year, and I think a successful season for the Jets last year wasn't necessarily based off of wins and losses. It was more based off of Aaron Glenn. Is he the guy? Or are you seeing that the Jets are a better team as the season progressed? And I feel like we never saw that. I feel like we saw good moments from Aaron Glenn, and then we saw bad moments. And it was just this constant up and down. And we got to the end of the season. You couldn't confidently say the Jets were a better team at the end of the season than they were in the beginning. You couldn't even say that you confidently felt better about them. And that's why I think a lot of people were comparing it to Gerard Mayo because, I mean, same exact thing was, happening with Gerard Mayo. You never felt better about him at the end of the season than you did in the beginning. And I saw this statistic where the Jets had one of the worst 5-game stretches that the NFL has seen. I mean, they lost their final 5 games going 0-5. They were outscored by 23 plus points in every game. And then during that stretch, they were outscored by 134 points total, allowing 34 points in 4 of their final 5 games with 0 interceptions on the season. So you got cooked. So you look at that and it's like, damn, you ended the season just as bad as you started. And so if Aaron Glenn can really come in and solidify this team with his culture and get everybody to lock in and everybody to believe now that he has players that fits the system that he wants. He has some young bucks in here from this draft class that I absolutely loved from the New York Jets just a few months ago, that I think they can be successful. But I say this all the time, a good coaching staff can make a bad roster look good, but a bad coaching staff can make a good roster look bad. Which one is Aaron Glenn? We're about to find out.
Yeah, and the jury's out on Aaron Glenn, no doubt about it, right? He's coming off 1 year with 3 wins. And if you poll the entire Jets fan base across the planet, I bet you a majority of them would say they do not have any optimism in Aaron Glenn. So he's got to prove it to the fans before anything else. It's not like Jets fans are saying, oh, Aaron Glenn's the guy, we're about to do it, right? There's a small percentage of Jets fans, I'd say, that believe he is the guy, and Glenn's got to be the one to go out there and prove it.